Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, coming off that great win at the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Raceway. 23-11 got their, what is that, 5th win for that team, their 100th start. So, 23-11, been around 100 starts. So what is that, 2.5 years? So the history of 23-11. We all know September 21st, 2020, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan announced the formation of a team. Let's step back a little bit. There was rumors going around during the 2020 season early on that MJ, Hamlin, Bubba Wallace were going to team up with Richard Petty Motorsports and basically buy into the team. Denny Hamlin said this in an interview once, that him and MJ have been friends for years. They've got, he's sponsored on the car and stuff. So he knew MJ was a NASCAR fan, so they've been friends for a long time. He calls his buddy up and is like, hey, you hear the rumors? Yeah, what's up with that? No one's talked to us. That's kind of funny. The rumors are there. He's not even said a word about it. They kept talking like, you're a NASCAR fan. I'm looking for something eventually when I get done driving. Why don't we do this? Why don't we team up? So, September 21st, 2020, we found out Hamlin and MJ were teaming up, and Bubba Wallace is going to be the driver. October 22nd, we found out 2311, the number 23 car with DoorDash and who are the other sponsors early on? McDonald's, Columbia Sportswear, Dr. Pepper, and Root Insurance. October 30th that year, the team, they announced they would have a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs. It would be a Toyota team. We kind of knew that, because Denny couldn't drive one manufacturer and own another. December 14th is when those sponsors were announced. We saw the initial car. We got the interview with Bubba and everything. And you know what? The ball was rolling. We had the new car coming. We all knew that was going to be a game changer in the sport, which I feel it has. I think it's kind of funny now to go back on NASCAR archives and look at old races. That Gen 6 car compared to this next gen car. It's like, wow. The freaking spoiler was like that big. I was watching the Talladega 21 race. Yeah, we'll get to that. And that freaking spoiler was like that big. I'm like, holy crap, it's craziness. The first start for 2311 in the NASCAR sanctioned race was actually done by Ty Dillon. I don't know if a lot of people know that. So when Germain Racing sold got out of NASCAR, they sold the charter, which was exactly what the charter system was for. When a team decides, hey, we're done racing, we're going to get out, we don't have anything of value to sell, now they do. They have those charters. So that very valuable charter they sold to 2311 for the 23 car. They ended up buying the shop as well and took over the shop with Germain Racing, hired a lot of the employees. Well, when it came to the 2021 season, the Busch Clash, in order to be in the Busch Clash, you had to be a former Busch Clash winner, a pole winner, a race winner, a stage winner. Well, in 2020, driving for Richard Petty Motorsports, Bubba Wallace didn't meet that criteria. But the former driver of the Germain Racing 13 Geico car did, Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon had won a stage. So they went ahead and put Ty Dillon in the 23 car for the Busch Light Clash in the Daytona Road Course in February of 21. So the first driver to drive a 2311 car in a race was Ty Dillon. He started 14th, finished 18th. Now, when it came to the points race, we know Bubba Wallace drove that first race. He drove in the duels. He qualified for Daytona 6th, finished 17th. He led lap 129, so 2311 got their first lap led. They got their first stage top 10, stage 1 of that Daytona, finished 7th. They got their first win October 4th, 2021. Bubba Wallace, he started 7th. Now, we all know it rained. NASCAR ended up calling the race past halfway, and Bubba Wallace is awarded the win. A lot of people have issues with that. Well, they have issues with Bubba Wallace anyway, but we'll not get into that. And they said, rain shortened win, it don't count, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's been 58 rain shortened races in NASCAR history. Jeff Gordon has 5 wins. Dale Earnhardt has a win. Richard Petty has a rain shortened win. Rain shortened wins count. It wasn't like, and some people have said this as well, as soon as Bubba Wallace took the lead, NASCAR said it's raining, they called the race. No, that's not how it happened, folks. Bubba Wallace led lap 113 through 117. Penske cars were right behind him. He was racing the number 1 Monster Energy Chevrolet. Oh yeah, Kurt Busch driving it. Guess what? A wreck happened on lap 117. Every team knew rain was coming that day. We all knew we're racing to halfway, and either the end of stage 2 or halfway, whichever comes first, race over, done. So people knew rain was coming. The intensity ramped up. Bubba Wallace was in the lead. The wreck happened on lap 117. Under caution, it started raining, and it wasn't just a sprinkle, it was raining hard. They lost the track. This year's Talladega race began at 3 p.m. I want to say that year was about the same, 3 p.m. local time. They raced 2.5 hours at that point, so it was approximately, let's just say, 5:30 local time. You have a 2.66 mile track that you have to drive 100% completely to put these cars back out there. And if it's still raining, you can't drive the track. Oh, by the way, there are no lights at Talladega. There wasn't time to resume the race. NASCAR's policy, if it gets to past halfway, we don't come back the next day. I don't think NASCAR's ever done that. Once it's past halfway, race is final, done if it rains, and gets washed out. So that's what happened with that. Much as people say they shouldn't count, they do. They count like any other wins. A lot of drivers have gotten their first win in a rain-shortened race. That doesn't make that first win any less than anybody else's first win. 2311's first DNF came May 23rd, 2021 at COTA. Race 14 of that year. Bubba started 23rd, finished 38th. First multi-win season for a driver was this year with Tyler Reddick having the second win. We know last year 2311 won 2 races, one with Kurt Busch, one with Bubba Wallace. On August 27, 2021 is when they announced that they were going to have a second team. The 45 was created for Kurt Busch. They had purchased the Starcom racing charter when they closed for $13.5 million at the time, the richest transaction for a single charter. So the flagship number for 2311 is 23. That 23 car now has made 100 starts, 1 win, 11 top 5s, 16 top 10s, 38 top 15s, 58 top 20s, 3 different drivers, Bubba Wallace for 90 starts, Ty Gibbs for 9, and Daniel Hemrick for 1, 17 DNFs, 283 laps led. The 45, which was the car that came last year with Kurt Busch, 64 starts now in that 45 car, 4 wins for that 45, 15 top 5s, 26 top 10s, 29 top 15s, and 38 top 20s. Tyler Reddick, 28 starts. Kurt Busch, 20 starts. Bubba Wallace, 9. John Hunter Nemechek, 1. And then this year, this third team was the 67. We're in 2 races. Travis Pastrana and then Kumi Kanabashi both have driven that car this year. Now, Bubba's second win in his career came at Kansas 1 year ago. His car owner, Denny Hamlin, finishing second, 2 seconds behind. There's been a lot of people that I've seen online comments and stuff throughout the last year that Bubba only won that race because he was driving Kurt's car. Well, first off, when they swapped last year 23 and 45, that was just for owner points. They were literally just peeled the number off and pasted the number on. That was the only difference between what the 23 was the first 26 races last year and what the 45 was the last 10. It was still Booty Barker and crew with Bubba Wallace driving. Now, some other people had said with that, well, you know, it was Kurt Busch's setup, so that's the only reason Bubba won. So by you people making that statement, you just put down 2311. So basically you're saying only way Bubba Wallace can win is in a winning car. So that means they're not giving the 23 winning equipment, they're giving the 45 winning equipment. That if he won with Kurt Busch's setup, that means they're not giving him the setup that he can win. So you're literally putting down 2311, you're not putting down Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace can win a race in a fast car. Yeah, I mean, anybody can. Come on. But you're not insulting Bubba Wallace, you're insulting the team, which is not fair. Kurt got that big win last year at Kansas in the spring. Bubba got the big win, Kansas in the fall. Unfortunately, after 20 races, Kurt Busch, Pocono crash at qualifying, concussion. To this day, still hasn't recovered completely. Sad deal. It actually reminds me of back in the day, Neil Bonnet. Neil Bonnet was driving for Wood Brothers at Dover, I believe it was, in 1990. Got in a pretty bad accident. He was actually hurt really bad. He was able to, within 3 years, come back. Unfortunately, during his comeback, he was killed at Daytona in that practice crash. But Ernie Irvan, same way, had that big bad crash at Michigan. Year and a half later, a year later, was able to come back. So hopefully we can have the same kind of deal for Kurt Busch down the line. Maybe now that Toyota has re-signed at 2311, as long as they don't have 4 cars, which I know there's talk of them possibly getting charters and adding, we'll see. But hopefully there's room there where they can do maybe a 3rd car, even a 4th car for Kurt if he's able to come back. Definitely want that to happen. But if you look at these 3 cars they've had now, we've had 100 starts in the 23, 67s, 64 starts in the 45, 2 in the 67. And then the drivers that have driven for 2311, Bubba Wallace, 99 starts, 2 wins, 12 top 5s, 20 top 10s, 59 top 20s, 15 DNFs, 1 pole, 374 laps led. Tyler Reddick, 28 starts, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, 17 top 20s, 3 DNFs, 1 pole, 404 laps led. Kurt Busch, 20 races, 1 win, 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s, 12 top 20s, 4 DNFs, 182 laps led. Ty Gibbs, 15 starts, 1 top 10, 7 top 20s, 4 DNFs, 2 laps led. Travis Pastrana, 1 start, 1 top 15, 1 top 20. Kumi Kobashi, 1 start. He unfortunately finished outside the top 20, but he did lead a lap in that. Denny Hamlin has said many times that their goal this year was to get both cars in the playoffs. They did that. 12th in regular season points for Tyler Reddick and 14th for Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had a string of 8 straight top 20s and a string of 3 straight top 5s this year. Tyler Reddick has had a back-to-back top 2 finishes in the playoffs, 2nd at Darlington and 1st at Kansas. He also had 3 straight top 5s earlier in the season with his win. Bubba Wallace is a good driver. Tyler Reddick is a good driver. Both of these guys are they seem to be friends, and I think I also heard they were friends as well before Tyler started driving there. Bubba is a NASCAR Cup Series winner. Bubba Wallace is a NASCAR Cup Series driver. He deserves it. He should be there. Whether or not some of you quote fans think he should be, and you hear these stats that I put out, and you say, well, see, he doesn't deserve. Yeah, he does deserve it. He deserves to be here just like anyone else. Here's the big thing that a lot of people will look at Bubba Wallace's past record and look at, okay, in the Truck Series, he won races with KBM, finished in the top 5 in points. He went to Roush Racing in the Xfinity Series, finished 7th in points. He finished 7th in points in a year where 27 of the races were won by Cup Series regulars. So there wasn't a lot of fruit there for the Xfinity guys. In his first season with 2311, he had 1 win, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Remember, it was a new team then. I don't care if there's an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. It was a new team. They had to build themselves up. He's gotten better each and every year. In 2021, Bubba Wallace had an average finish of 19.7. In 2022, an average finish of 18.3. This year, average finish 17.0. The team's getting better. Bubba's getting better. The communication, him and Booty are getting better. People just want to put down this team for some reason. If they win, it's because somebody let them. If they do well, it's not because of Bubba, it's because of the Joe Gibbs racing car. They don't know. These are 2311 racing teams, the 45 to 23. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace both drive 2311. When they do well as a team. Forward together is their big thing. Because they are a team. Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Steve Loletta, Michael Jordan. It is a team. They have an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. These cars are not built in the Joe Gibbs shop. These teams are not, these employees work for 2311. Yes, Denny Hamlin has to go back and forth. Yes, the competition meeting, from what I understand, I could be completely wrong with this, but the way I understand it, is held with Joe Gibbs because there's only 6 Toyotas. Next year there will be 8. It's just frustrating. Just like with this week. Denny Hamlin did not let Tyler Reddick win this race. Tyler Reddick went out and took this race, just like Bubba Wallace did last year. Now, Tyler Reddick is on to the round of 12. Good luck, Tyler. Let's see if we can get you to championship 4. That's, if you go out in the round of 12, great season. If you go out in the round of 8, great season. Make the championship 4, that's even a better season. Bubba Wallace, going to Bristol. 17 points down? Is that where he's at? You know what? Regardless of what happens at Bristol, I'm a Bubba Wallace fan. Regardless of what happens at Bristol, that's not going to change my thought process of Bubba Wallace. He is currently 19 points under the cut. Is that 19 points doable? Yes. For example, if there's nobody gets stage points, Bubba Wallace finishes 10th. Martin Truex Jr. has to finish outside the top 22. Kevin Harvick has to finish 36th. So if Bubba Wallace can get stage points and Harvick and Truex does not, in theory, Bubba Wallace is only racing 4 guys. He's right. Honestly, he's only really racing 4 guys: McDowell, Stenhouse, Truex, and Harvick. He's just got to beat 4 guys to move on. Minus 19 going to Bristol. Not a great race. Not a great track for Bubba. But you know what? As a Bubba Wallace fan, do I hold out hope? Yes. Do I understand the reality of where Bubba's at? Yeah, I do. I get it. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull up Bristol and see what Bubba's done there. Bubba's not a road course racer. We all know that. No, that's fine. I don't hold it against Bubba. So Bubba's averaged 19.3 in the last 4 races at Bristol. Martin Truex Jr. 21.8. Okay. Kevin Harvick. Where's Harvick? 6.0 on a win. Ryan Blaney, because he's right there too on the cut. Let's see what Blaney's at. 21.8. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, there is a chance. There's always a chance. Anything can happen. We know that. We'll see what happens. But 2311 making their 100 start on Sunday and getting a win, their 5th win with Tyler Reddick. They have 2 really fast Toyota TRD Camrys that they bring to the track each and every week. They have 2 fast drivers in Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. They have a pretty fast owner in Denny Hamlin. They have a pretty phenomenal owner in Michael Jordan. This team is set up for success. This team will win more races. Bubba Wallace will win more races. That is a little topic about 2311, their 100 start. As always, thanks for watching the Rubber Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.